Chloe Carter stood in the doorway of her guest bedroom at 2:13 in the morning, watching her husband whisper into his phone in a language she didn't understand. His back was to her. The bathroom light carved a yellow triangle across the hardwood floor. His free hand gripped the edge of the sink. She could see his knuckles, white, tight. He laughed, soft, intimate. She stepped back into the hallway. Her bare feet made no sound. Her heart made all the noise. To understand how Chloe ended up here, trembling in her own home, you need to go back. Back to when she believed in fairy tales. Back to when James Omalana walked into her life with a smile that could sell anything. 3 years earlier, Chloe was 29 and running a boutique marketing firm in Manhattan. She'd built it from nothing. 2 employees, then 5, then 12. Her apartment in Tribeca had floor-to-ceiling windows. She could see the Hudson River from her bed. She worked 16-hour days and loved every minute. She wasn't looking for love. She wasn't looking for anyone. James found her anyway. They met at a networking event in Soho. He was charming. British-Nigerian accent. Sharp suit. He worked in finance, he said. Consultant. He asked thoughtful questions about her business. He didn't try too hard. That's what hooked her. He seemed genuinely interested in her mind before her body. Their first date was coffee. Their second was dinner. Their third was a weekend in the Hamptons where he told her about growing up in London, about his single mother who worked 3 jobs, about his one sister back home, Jennifer. He showed Chloe a picture on his phone, a woman with kind eyes and James's same cheekbones. "She's all I have left," James said. "Mom passed 2 years ago." Chloe reached across the table and held his hand. 6 months later, he proposed. Small ceremony, City Hall, her business partner and his college friend as witnesses. Chloe wore cream, James wore navy. They honeymooned in Bali. The photos looked like magazine spreads. The first year was good. James worked long hours. So did she. They met in the middle, Sunday brunches, Friday movie nights. He cooked jollof rice that made her weep. She introduced him to her parents in Connecticut. Her father, a retired surgeon, liked him. Her mother, always harder to please, softened when James asked about her garden. "He's a keeper," her mother whispered in the kitchen. Chloe thought so too. The second year started differently. Small things. James on his phone more. Stepping out of rooms to take calls. Nothing dramatic, nothing she could name. Just a shift, like the temperature dropping 1 degree at a time until you realize you're cold, then the money. Chloe handled their joint account. She wasn't controlling. She just liked organization, spreadsheets, color-coded budgets. In month 14 of their marriage, she noticed a transfer, $1,500, outgoing, to an account with the surname Omalana. She asked him about it over dinner. "It's for Jennifer," James said. He didn't look up from his pasta. "She's going through a rough patch." Chloe nodded. "I didn't know things were that bad." "She's private, doesn't like asking for help." The next month, another transfer, $2,000. The month after, $2,500. Always to the same account, always labeled Jennifer Omalana. Chloe didn't say anything. She watched. She waited. She started noticing other things. James staying up late, always with his phone, always in the bathroom, the door locked, the fan running. One night, she pretended to go to a late work dinner. She told James she'd be home by midnight. Instead, she parked her car 3 blocks away and walked back. She let herself in through the side door. Quiet. The apartment was dark except for the guest bedroom. She could hear his voice, low, rhythmic. She moved closer. That's when she saw him, in the bathroom, whispering, laughing, speaking in Yoruba. She didn't understand the words, but she understood the tone, the intimacy, the secrecy. She didn't confront him, not that night. She went back downstairs, waited 30 minutes, then came home loudly, keys jangling, humming. James was in bed scrolling through his phone, acting like he'd been there all night. Chloe climbed in next to him. She stared at the ceiling. The smoke detector blinked red every few seconds. On, off, on, off. She didn't sleep. The next morning she made breakfast, scrambled eggs, toast, fresh coffee. She sat across from James at their small kitchen table. Sunlight poured through the window. He looked tired. She looked calm. "Who's Jennifer?" Chloe asked. James paused mid-bite. "My sister. You know this. Jennifer Omilana." "Yes. That's not the name you showed me 3 years ago." James set down his fork. "What are you talking about?" "The photo. On your phone. Your sister. You called her Jenna. Jenna Adeyemi." She watched his face. The micro-expressions. The tightening around his eyes. The slight flare of his nostrils. "I don't remember that," he said. Chloe smiled. "I do." She stood. She cleared her plate. She walked to the sink. She could feel him watching her. She could feel the lie sitting between them like a third person at the table. She didn't push. Not yet. Over the next 2 weeks, Chloe became someone she didn't recognize. She checked his phone while he showered. She found nothing. Passcode changed. She checked their banking statements every day. The transfers continued. Always the same amount. Always the same account. Then one night she came home early again. This time, James was in the living room. Laptop open, headphones on. Video call. She could see the screen from the hallway. A woman, beautiful, smiling. 2 small children in the background. James was laughing, relaxed. He looked happier than Chloe had seen him in months. She walked into the room. James jumped, slammed the laptop shut, pulled off his headphones. "Chloe, you're home." "I am." "I thought you had a client meeting." "It got canceled." They stared at each other. The air between them felt heavy. Chloe could hear her own heartbeat. She could smell his cologne, the same one he wore on their wedding day. "Who was that?" she asked. "Jennifer. Your sister." "Yes." "With children." James stood. "She's babysitting." "For who?" "A neighbor." Chloe nodded slowly. She set down her bag. She walked to the couch and sat. She patted the cushion next to her. "Sit down, James." He hesitated, then sat. Chloe turned to face him. She took his hand. It was cold. "I love you," she said. "And I know you're lying to me." James opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. "Chloe, let me finish." Her voice was steady, calm. She'd practiced this. "I don't know what you're hiding, but I know it's something big. And I'm giving you one chance to tell me the truth, right now. No judgment, no anger, just truth." James looked at her, really looked at her. For a moment, Chloe thought she saw something crack, something real. Then he blinked, and the mask was back. "It is Jennifer," he said. "My sister. But she's in trouble. Bad marriage. She's trying to leave, but it's complicated. I'm helping her financially. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry." "Why is she using your last name?" "She changed it back. After the marriage fell apart." "Why are you talking to her in the middle of the night?" "Time zones. She's in London." Chloe squeezed his hand. "Bring her here." James blinked. "What?" "Bring her here. To New York. If she's in danger, if she needs help, bring her here. Family comes first, James. Always. We have space. We have resources. Bring Jennifer and her kids here. Let us help." She watched him process this. Watched the calculations happen behind his eyes. The panic. The trapped animal look. I don't think that's necessary." "I insist." "Chloe." "James." She smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. "Bring your sister here. I want to meet her properly. I want to help. Isn't that what family does?" What was James supposed to say? How could he refuse without revealing everything? Chloe had backed him into a corner lined with his own lies. She could see him trying to find a way out. There wasn't one. Okay, he said finally. I'll talk to her. Chloe kissed his cheek. Thank you, sweetheart. That night, James made another call. Longer this time. Chloe couldn't hear the words, but she could hear the tone. Urgent, worried. She lay in bed, staring at that blinking smoke detector, and smiled in the dark. Tell me something. If someone you loved was hiding a whole other life, would you confront them immediately? Or would you play the long game? Before we continue, hit that subscribe button. Drop your city in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. Because what Chloe does next is something else entirely. The logistics took 6 months. James dragged his feet at every turn. Visa complications, he said. Jennifer's work schedule, the kids' school, every week a new excuse. But Chloe was patient. She pushed gently, persistently. She offered to pay for everything. Flights, accommodation, legal fees. She played the role of the eager sister-in-law perfectly. In month 4, something shifted. James stopped resisting. He started making real arrangements. Chloe wondered what changed. Later, she'd find out, but for now, she focused on preparation. She found an apartment in Queens, 2 bedrooms, close to good schools. She furnished it, paid 6 months' rent up front. She told James they'd stay there temporarily, just until Jennifer got on her feet. You're too generous, James said. Family is everything, Chloe replied. The day Jennifer arrived, Chloe was at JFK with a handmade sign. James stood next to her, texting rapidly. When Jennifer emerged from customs, Chloe's breath caught. She was beautiful, late 20s, expensive clothes, designer bag. She didn't look like someone fleeing a bad marriage. She looked like someone arriving for vacation. And she was alone. Where are the children? Chloe asked. Jennifer's smile was bright, practiced. With their grandparents, safer for now, until I get settled. Chloe hugged her. Welcome to New York, Jennifer. Over her shoulder, she watched James. He couldn't meet her eyes. They drove to the apartment in Queens. Jennifer cooed over everything, the furniture, the view, the kitchen. She seemed comfortable, too comfortable, like she'd done this before. Stay as long as you need, Chloe said. Actually, James interrupted, Jennifer thinks she might look for her own place soon. She doesn't want to impose. Chloe turned to him. Impose? She's family. I insist she stay, at least until she finds work. Gets her bearings. Right, Jennifer? Jennifer looked between them. That's very kind. It's settled then. Chloe squeezed her hand. We're going to be such good friends. That night, Chloe told James she wanted to take Jennifer shopping, show her the city, help her adjust. James agreed. He seemed relieved, probably thought it would keep Chloe busy, keep her from asking questions. He had no idea what was coming. The next morning, Chloe picked Jennifer up at 9. They went to Soho, Bloomingdale's, Sephora. Chloe bought her clothes, makeup, shoes. Jennifer's eyes went wide at the price tags. She protested weakly. Chloe insisted. You've been through so much, Chloe said. Let me do this. While Jennifer tried on dresses in the fitting room, Chloe made a call, quick, quiet. Today, while we're out, you have 4 hours. The voice on the other end confirmed, professional, efficient. Chloe hung up and smiled at Jennifer through the mirror. That color looks amazing on you. They had lunch at a French bistro in the West Village. Jennifer ordered wine. She was relaxing. Opening up, she talked about London, about missing home, about how hard it was being away from her children. How old are they? Chloe asked. 7 and 4. Boys, girls? Both boys. James must miss them. He loves kids. Jennifer's wine glass paused halfway to her lips. Yes, he does. Does he call them often? When he can. Must be hard, the time difference. It is. Chloe leaned forward. You know, James talks about you all the time. How close you two are. How he'd do anything for his baby sister. Jennifer smiled. It looked strained. "He's a good brother. The best." Chloe signaled for the check. "We should get you home. You must be exhausted." By the time they returned to the Queen's apartment, it was late afternoon. Chloe helped Jennifer carry her shopping bags upstairs. They hugged goodbye. Chloe watched her close the door, then walked back to her car. She sat behind the wheel for a moment. Then she pulled out her phone. A text was waiting. "Done. 14 cameras installed. Audio and video. All running. Access link attached." Chloe clicked the link. Her screen divided into multiple feeds: living room, kitchen, both bedrooms, bathroom excluded. She could see Jennifer walking through the apartment, hanging up her new clothes, checking her phone. Chloe started the car and drove home. Over the next 3 weeks, Chloe watched. Every day. Every night. She saw Jennifer video calling someone. A man. Not James. Younger. She saw her laughing, complaining about New York, saying she missed home, saying she couldn't wait for this to be over. She saw James visiting, twice a week, always when he told Chloe he was working late. She saw them sitting close on the couch, his hand on her knee, her head on his shoulder. She saw them talking about money, about accounts, about property, about Chloe. One night, Chloe watched them open a bottle of wine. Jennifer pulled out a folder. Papers. They spread them across the coffee table. Chloe leaned closer to her laptop screen, turned up the volume. "The lawyer says it's straightforward," Jennifer was saying. "New York is an equitable distribution state. You've been married less than 3 years. But because she started her business before the marriage, we have to be careful. We need to prove commingling of assets." James nodded. He looked nervous. "How long?" "6 more months. Maybe a year. We file for divorce, claim irreconcilable differences, and push for settlement. You'll get at least 40%. Maybe half if we play it right." "And you're sure she won't suspect?" Jennifer laughed. "James, she just spent $3,000 on me today. She thinks I'm your poor, abused sister. She has no idea. She's smarter than she looks. She's naive. She wants to believe the best in people. It makes her weak." Chloe's hand tightened around her coffee mug. The ceramic was warm, almost hot. "Once we're divorced, I bring the boys over," Jennifer continued. "We get married. Apply for my green card through you. Then the boys get theirs. 5 years later, citizenship. We're set." "And if she fights the divorce?" "She won't. She'll be heartbroken. She'll want it over. Women like her don't fight. They cry and move on." James picked up his wine glass. "To the plan." Jennifer clinked hers against his. "To freedom." They kissed. Long, deep, familiar. Chloe closed her laptop. She sat in her dark apartment. The only light came from the city outside. Millions of windows, millions of lives. She wondered how many of them were built on lies. She didn't cry, she didn't scream, she didn't throw anything. She opened her laptop again and downloaded every single video file. Every conversation, every kiss, every planning session. She organized them into folders, dated, labeled, time-stamped. Then she made a call to her lawyer, then another to her accountant, then a third to someone she'd hoped she'd never need. A private investigator, former NYPD, specialized in fraud cases. "I need everything," Chloe said. "Every piece of documentation, immigration papers, marriage certificate, financial records, phone records. I need an airtight case." "What are we building?" the investigator asked. "Proof of marriage fraud." There was a pause. "That's federal." "I know. You sure about this?" Chloe thought about James's hand on Jennifer's knee, about them laughing at her naivety, about the 2 children waiting in another country to come live in a home built on her money, her work, her stupid, trusting heart. "I'm sure." The investigator worked fast. Within 2 weeks, Chloe had a file 4 inches thick. James's initial visa application, his marriage-based green card petition, testimonials they'd submitted about their genuine relationship. Financial records showing suspicious transfers that predated their meeting. Evidence that Jennifer wasn't his sister at all. She was his common-law wife from London. They had 2 children together. They'd been together for 8 years. James had married Chloe specifically for immigration benefits. The whole thing was a con. Elaborate, calculated, cruel. But here's what Jennifer got wrong. Chloe wasn't naive. She wasn't weak. She was patient. And patience, in the right hands, is the sharpest weapon. Chloe waited until month 7. She documented everything. She had video evidence, financial proof, testimonies from neighbors in London who confirmed James and Jennifer's relationship. She had statements from James's own friends who'd slipped up during casual interviews, mentioning his wife before catching themselves. Then one evening, Chloe came home early. James was there, cooking dinner. He'd made her favorite, chicken piccata. "Smells amazing," Chloe said. "Thought I'd surprise you." She kissed his cheek. "I need to talk to you about something." James tensed. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. I've just been thinking about us, about our future." She poured herself a glass of wine. "I want to start a family." James nearly dropped the spatula. "A family?" "Kids. I'm 32. You're 34. It's time, don't you think?" I mean, we haven't really discussed." "I know, but I've been thinking about it a lot, especially since Jennifer arrived, seeing how much you love her boys. You'd be an amazing father." James's face had gone pale. "Chloe, I don't think—" "Let's start trying. Tonight." She watched him scramble for excuses. Work stress, financial concerns, timing. Every reason except the real one. He already had children. He was already planning a life with someone else. Starting a family with Chloe would ruin everything. "Let me think about it," he said finally. "Okay." Chloe smiled. "But don't think too long. I'm not getting any younger." That night, James slept on the edge of the bed, as far from her as possible. Chloe lay awake, listening to him breathe. She wondered if he was planning his exit strategy. She wondered if he'd warn Jennifer. She wondered if they'd try to accelerate their timeline. She didn't have to wonder long. 2 days later, her investigator called. "He's meeting with a divorce attorney. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. office in Midtown." "Perfect," Chloe said. The next morning, Chloe met with her own lawyer, federal prosecutor, friend from law school. She laid out everything, the evidence, the recordings, the financial trail, the fake sister, the real wife, the children waiting to benefit from a fraudulent marriage. "This is marriage fraud," the prosecutor said. "Textbook case. If we report this to USCIS, he'll lose his green card, possibly face criminal charges." "Report it," Chloe said. "You understand he could be deported?" "I'm counting on it." The prosecutor studied her. "He'll have nothing. No status, no access to your assets, no path back to the U.S. "Good. What about Jennifer?" "She's here on a visitor visa, overstaying. Report her too." The wheels started turning, slowly at first, then faster. USCIS opened an investigation. They requested interviews, documentation. They wanted to speak with Chloe, with James. They wanted proof the marriage was genuine. Chloe gave them proof it wasn't. She handed over the videos, the recordings, the financial evidence, everything. She sat across from a stern woman in a government office and watched her face change as she reviewed the materials. "Mrs. Omalana, I'm sorry this happened to you." "Miss Carter," Chloe corrected. "I'll be reclaiming my maiden name." 2 weeks later, James received a letter. USCIS was revoking his green card pending investigation into marriage fraud. He was to appear for an interview. He was to bring documentation. He was advised to seek legal counsel. He came home white-faced, shaking. "Chloe, something's happened." She looked up from her laptop. "What's wrong?" "Immigration. They're investigating. They think our marriage is fraudulent." "What? Why would they think that?" "I don't know. Someone must have reported us." Chloe stood. She walked to him. She took his hands in hers. "James, is there something you need to tell me?" He looked into her eyes. She watched him calculate, watched him try to figure out what she knew, watched him decide to keep lying. "No, this is a mistake. We'll fix it." "Then we'll fight it together," Chloe said. "We'll show them we're a real couple. We have nothing to hide, right?" "Right." But Chloe wasn't fighting anything. 2 days later, she filed for divorce. Grounds: fraud. She filed a formal complaint with ICE. She provided them with everything, every video, every recording, every piece of evidence that James had married her solely to obtain immigration benefits. The house of cards collapsed fast. ICE picked up James at his office. They detained him. 24 hours later, they picked up Jennifer at the Queen's apartment. Overstayed visa, complicity in marriage fraud. Chloe got a call from James's detention attorney. He wanted to negotiate. "Negotiate what?" Chloe asked. "Your testimony. If you testify that the marriage was genuine, that there was love initially, maybe we can—" "No. Ms. Carter, he's facing deportation, criminal charges, his entire life. His entire life was a lie. Every moment, every smile, every I love you. It was all a transaction. He used me. Now he faces the consequences." She hung up. The divorce was finalized in 4 months. Chloe got everything: the apartment, the business, every asset. James's immigration status was revoked. His green card was canceled. He was placed in removal proceedings. Jennifer was deported first. Back to London. Back to her children who were still with their grandparents. Back to nothing. James followed 2 weeks later. His citizenship revoked. His status eliminated. He left with 1 suitcase and a criminal record that would prevent him from ever returning to the United States. Chloe didn't go to the airport. She didn't watch him leave. She was at her office meeting with a new client, building her business even bigger. But she did check her blocked messages folder one night, months later, out of curiosity. Amid the spam and junk, there was an email from James. It had come the day after he landed in London. The subject line read, "I'm sorry." Chloe almost deleted it without reading, but something made her click. The message was long, rambling, pathetic. He said he regretted everything. He said he'd made the biggest mistake of his life. He said he got home and discovered Jennifer had been cheating on him the entire time he was in New York, with the man Chloe had seen on the videos, the younger one, the children. Neither of them were his. DNA tests, Jennifer confessed. 8 years of lies, 2 children he'd raised as his own, all of it fake. He'd lost everything: his status, his money, his family, his identity, for a woman who'd been using him the same way he'd used Chloe. "I understand now," the email read. "What I did to you, the betrayal, the pain. I understand because I'm living it, and I'm sorry. I know it doesn't matter. I know you'll never forgive me, but I needed you to know that I'm sorry, and that you were right. About everything. You were always the smart one. I was just too arrogant to see it." Chloe read it twice. Then she closed her laptop. She didn't reply. 3 years later, Chloe stood in front of 200 people at a women's business conference in Chicago. She was the keynote speaker. Her firm had tripled in size. She'd been featured in Forbes, Fast Company. She'd written a book about building a business from the ground up, about resilience, about trusting your instincts. "Someone once told me I was too trusting," Chloe said to the audience, "that I saw the best in people, that it made me weak. And for a while I believed them. But I learned something important. Being kind doesn't mean being stupid. Having faith in people doesn't mean ignoring red flags. And giving someone the benefit of the doubt doesn't mean you can't protect yourself." The audience was silent, listening. "I gave someone everything," Chloe continued. "My love, my trust, my home. And they tried to take even more. They thought I was naive. They mistook kindness for weakness. They confused faith with blindness. But here's what they didn't know. I was watching. I was learning. I was preparing. And when the time came, I didn't just survive, I won. The applause started slowly, then built. 200 people on their feet. Chloe smiled. The same smile she'd worn in the dark that night, staring at the blinking smoke detector. The same smile she'd worn when she told James to bring his sister to New York. It wasn't a smile of bitterness. It was a smile of someone who'd learned that being harmless as a dove and wise as a serpent weren't contradictions. They were the same thing, different sides of the same strength. After the conference, a young woman approached her, maybe 25, nervous. "Miss Carter, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "How did you know? When to trust your gut? When to stop giving someone chances?" Chloe thought about it. About James whispering in the bathroom. About Jennifer laughing at her naivety. About the moment she decided to stop being a victim and become something else entirely. "You know," Chloe said simply. "Somewhere deep down you always know. The question isn't whether you know. It's whether you're brave enough to act on what you know. Even when it hurts. Even when it means admitting you were wrong about someone. Even when it means burning down everything you built to build something better." The young woman nodded. "Thank you." Chloe watched her walk away. Then she gathered her things, stepped out into the Chicago afternoon, and hailed a cab. She had a meeting across town, a potential partnership with a firm in Seattle. Her business was expanding. Her life was full. She'd bought a brownstone in Brooklyn. She had a dog now, a rescue, named Justice, because Chloe believed in naming things honestly. In her bag, her phone buzzed. A text from her mother. "Saw your speech online. So proud of you, darling." Chloe smiled. Typed back, "Love you, Mom." Then she looked out the window at the city moving past. Thousands of people, thousands of stories. Some of them ending, some just beginning. She wondered about James sometimes, about whether he'd rebuilt his life, about whether he'd learned anything. But mostly she didn't think about him at all. Because the best revenge isn't making someone suffer. It's not even exposing their lies. The best revenge is building a life so full, so successful, so genuinely happy that the person who tried to destroy you becomes irrelevant. A footnote, a lesson, a story you tell at conferences to help someone else. And Chloe Carter had done exactly that. She'd taken everything he tried to steal and turned it into something better, something real, something that couldn't be faked or conned or taken away. She'd won, not by destroying him, but by refusing to be destroyed. And that, she thought, as the cab pulled up to her meeting, was the only victory that mattered. If you watched this video to this point, hit that subscribe button for more engaging stories like this. Drop a comment below with your thoughts and where you are watching from. And remember, you're never too old, too late, or too quiet to reclaim what's yours. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.